the way, do you feel like a trailblazer?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I feel like a beneficiary of other trailblazers. I feel like I am like in the path that has been blazed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm running through the flames set by others before me, but I'm really happy to keep them going.
Yeah.
You know, that's our job. Like keep lighting those fires, keep it going, and allow people to feel inspired by it because I am evidence of what happens when you show people that it's worth going for it and taking risks and taking that leap of faith. I saw people do it. I went for it, and I hope other people do it, you know, based on what I'm trying to do.
But you get it honest. You come from good stock. You were just talking about your mom and how she has set that example
starts
for
with
you.
your mom.
Exactly, right? She set that example for you from the beginning of life.
She definitely did. Yeah. She told me to, what we were talking about is like, I mean, the idea that everything in your life is material for your future projects, good and bad. And I would come home from school and say, so-and-so was mean to me, or a teacher was difficult, something was impossible, and she'd say, it's just material. They're all characters. And in fact, many of them are characters in Booksmart.
And I was about to say, okay, so where do these characters come from Booksmart? What happened to you, girl?
Booksmart is like an amalgamation of lots of different experiences from lots of different women, which is why I hope it rings true to so many different people, men and women.
I felt so seen.
That's good.
I was the girl who never partied and wanted to at that last minute and looked for the party. Well, I didn't actually go looking for the party, but wanted to look for the party. I was too scared to look for the party.
Yeah, I mean, it is about, it's like, you know, it's the same thing Ferris Bueller's about. It's about being in the moment and don't letting life pass you by. We have to keep reminding ourselves of that same lesson every generation.
I love that. So how did you come up with that inspiration? I was talking to Jillian Bell yesterday, and she said she gets inspired in the shower a lot. Sometimes she's in there for like 45 minutes.
Shower epiphanies.
Yeah, but where did you come up with that idea for Booksmart? Where'd that hit you?
Well, that wasn't my idea. It was such a good idea that I grabbed on hold to it, and I was like, please let me add some of my experiences into this pot. It was a movie originally written by Sarah Haskins and Emily Halpern, who are a writing duo. They wrote it in 2009. It was on the Blacklist. And it was a story of female friendship that then kind of went through a different evolution. It was then rewritten by Susanna Fogel in 2014, and more experiences were added to it, and it sort of continued to grow. And then in 2016, when I read it, fell in love with it, and I said, I want to direct this. I want to really personalize it, but I want to find a partner to help me kind of take it to the next level. And I said, I need the best screenwriter in the world. And I found her, and her name is Katie Silberman, and she's here today.
Where's Katie?
She's there.
Stand up. Don't just sit and wave, Katie. We're giving folks flowers today.
Blazing my trail. You blaze my trail.
Oh, I love that. I love that she's here today.
I really learned a lot about collaboration through this process. And one of the pieces of advice I feel like I can pass on to other people who want to direct is find your collaborators, find that brain trust. Yeah. It is a myth that directing happens alone. And so you just have to reach out and say, who can help me see the sides of this that I cannot see? And so Katie ended up rewriting the script significantly. And at that point, we hired our actors who then rewrote it with us again because they were all such distinct voices.
Yeah.
And having been an actor for so long, I thought this is my chance to kind of allow them to collaborate in the way I always wanted to. And that was fun.
But your first time out of the gate, and this is what you do? Come on. Oh. Really? I mean, seriously, when I was telling you, I watched it again. I'm like, how is this her first movie?
I appreciate that deeply. I think a lot of people who want to direct for a long time, they come ready. Like, you come with a lot of ideas, and you're like,
I've been aching to do this
let me flex. Also, you don't know if you're ever going to be allowed to do it again. You really have no reason to believe you will be allowed to do it again. And so you come and you're here to play. Like, you're there to show your stuff. And, you know, I was lucky that I was permitted to do that. You know, I pitched some weird stuff for this movie. I was like, I want a stop motion animation sequence. I want dance fantasies. I want underwater scenes. I want to be able to cast whomever I choose, even if they've never been in a movie before. And I was given that freedom by Annapurna. So it's a lot of it is who is facilitating your project and who supports your vision, because I wouldn't be sitting here today if I worked with a studio who didn't understand my perspective on this movie. It just would have been a really boring movie.
Was there a movie you did or a movie you saw or an experience you had that made you get that directing bug? that you said,
I mean, I grew up watching movies that gave me that bug from an
Yeah.
early age. But specific to this genre, I grew up watching Breakfast Club and Ferris Bueller's Day
Come on,
Off.
girl after my heart.
Yes. I mean, I must have watched Ferris Bueller's like 17 times. And then, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And then then Clueless. It's interesting because Amy Heckerling is an example of a trailblazer
Yes.
who directed, of course, both Fast Times and Clueless.
Yes.
And is responsible for the voice of two generations. She was someone who taught me how to allow characters to be specific, to allow actors to really own those characters. Spicoli wasn't Spicoli on the page.
Right.
She is a director who allowed her cast to define her movie, and I really love finding inspiration in her work. Of course, Clueless for me was transformative. And
Still
there are
holds to this day.
there are Clueless references throughout Booksmart, but I really value the lessons I learned from the movies I obsessed over growing up, and it's exciting to think that someone out there might watch Booksmart lots of times and then direct a movie. That would be great.
Speaking in the professional realm, you actor, director, producer, activist, what is the most fun to put your hat on with? Like which one do you love the most?
Well, a director is really doing all of those jobs,
Yeah.
right? Because a director is a producer inherently, because you have to be aware of the logistical reality of the production, or you should be, or you'll be really upset. And a director is also an actor because they have to empathize with the experience of a performer.
Right.
You have to put yourself in those shoes. And then as an activist, I was raised by real activists, and I do my best to do them justice and try to speak truth to power when I can. Filmmaking is a wonderful tool to spread the truth and ask questions and humanize people. And I think, that's something that I've always taken seriously. What I've witnessed, though, in the 150 years I've been in this business is that there's been a shift in the way actors and performers think of themselves as political forces. When I was a teenager and I was talking about, politics in Hollywood, people would say, don't really talk about politics. Stay in your lane.
Right.
It's not really what people expect from you. It could get you in trouble. You don't know who you're going to offend. So it's probably just keep that private. And that was discouraging to me. That was hard. That was inauthentic.
Right.
That was awkward. And I couldn't really do it. But what I see now is a generation of performers, directors, producers, artists who are so unapologetic about their voices. And that's how it should be. So I feel like we're in a good place.
Absolutely.
With
That deserves a hand clap for sure. For sure. It's true, though, because when I said that earlier, you do have people, a lot of times you say, don't ask about politics, don't ask. But when you have someone as authentic as you, who's like, no, this is the world we live in. I'm going to say it loud, I'm going to say it proud. You might not agree with me, but this is my voice. And that's hard to do a lot of times as women. It just is. Still, I'm 44 and I'm still trying to find my real good voice,
Well, I mean, we will continue to find our voices, right? Like we should never be done with that. The extraordinary Jane Fonda talks about that a lot, about the continual discovery and how, she was 80 before she felt like she really understood herself and how to communicate. And I hope I'm not done evolving.
Nah, you're not. And not to disparage any male directors out there, because that's not what we're doing. But Ava DuVernay said to me one time that she firmly believes that the eye of a woman is just different and the attention to detail is just different.
Well, it is literally different, right? We have wider peripheral vision. Like there's a difference in the way that we see the world. And I think that we can work towards a time when people are just directors. There's no female and male directors. But I do think that we are unraveling an assumption built over, almost 100 years. Because like in the silent era, there were many female directors. It's very weird that we kind of undid all their work. But I think if we can unravel the assumption that directing is a male job, it's a male medium, it's an instinct, there's a sort of masculinity to it. If we can unravel that, then we can reach equality. But we're still in the process of unraveling.
Yes, we are.
So it means that we are proving that, yes, we can be as efficient. Yes, we can be as successful. It is not that we only make films for women. We make films for men too.
Indeed.
Ask, Catherine Bigelow makes
Exactly.
extremely tough films.
Some of the best.
Yeah, so I think
Zero Dark 30,
Yes.
Detroit, like all
Yes.
this. Yes.
So I think it's about unraveling assumptions.
Locker.
We're still in that place. But I hope by the time my daughter is directing films, because she's 3, but she's very bossy, and I think it's in the stars. But I want her to feel that, of course, she will be respected and accepted as a director. It shouldn't be an issue at that point.
And by the way, one of the cutest things ever that I've heard is that Olivia's son thinks all movies are directed by women.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very biased. It's very unfair to men. I've got to teach him some lessons.
I was not a big believer that women can have it all, but when that person is sitting in front of me that is doing it all and having it all, you give me a little hope for us girls.
I mean, I can't sing. I'm really bad at math. We could go through all of the things I'm working on, but thank you.
Well, all the things that you want, then we'll put it like that. And we appreciate you. We appreciate your art. And I cannot wait until Don't Worry, Darling. Cannot wait.
Thank you so much.
Cannot wait. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
You deserve all of this and more.